man. Just invite some random people out. We're meant to qualify at the back, man. This is bullshit.
I am actually going to qualify now.
Why don't you get Beth to race?
Oh, yes!
Yeah!
We don't need a qualifying event, mate.
You do, because top 10 still get reversed.
Oh well. We need 12, we need 12.
I'm qualifying, fuck it. I'm going to start at the back for the sprint.
Tell Jamie to go on, man. What's he doing?
Yeah, tell him to stop being a fucking fanny.
What car am I in?
Charouz.
Right there, I've lost the game now.
You're Enzo Fittipaldi.
Right, where?
Gonna let AI do my quali.
Where is he? Where's Enzo Fittipaldi? Oh, there.
In the Charouz racing system.
I would suggest that, to be fair.
I'm there.
Because you're going to get butt fucked by your sisters.
Left or left. Your sister's going to get a lot of questions for you tonight, mate.
Can I at least have a copy of these messages to be prepared?
Whose sister are we on about?
Liam might get involved.
Your friendship with Liam might suddenly end.
I mean, that's already happened before, so...
He hasn't.
What?
Liam.
What about him?
What?
Have I put 2 and 2 together and getting 100?
No, Liam's not got a shag in
You're
him.
putting two together and getting one.
Liam's not pumping these sisters, is he? Fuck.
No, fuck it hell. It's a pumping joke.
Alright.
Yes, boy.
For comedic value, I like what I was thinking better.
Right, I'm going in a party. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite all of you into the party. If any of you crash out, come and join me on comms, because I reckon it's going to get a bit boring.
I'll jump back, Joe, no problem.
Joe, your sister's more than welcome. Quite nice, I'm streaming. I'll check the weather on it, so I don't get to see the weather as a spectator. So. I use Dan's stream for see what the weather is. Shut up, boys! Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport here for the Formula 2s for the final time this season, and we are getting ready to go with Rabbit Joe in this final qualifying for one last time here in the Formula 2s. It is Melbourne, Australia that will take us through, and it is a little quiet, so let's get the volume sound up a little more for you guys to be able to hear it. Rabbit Joe, in fact, let's take you through on board our current pole sitter, Unorthodox 16, who is your champion. He won the Formula 2 Championship last week and is your champion already. And can him and Lucas Roth take the Constructors' Championship, as Lucas Roth then has had a crash in qualifying, and that will put him at the back of the pack for the feature race, but for the sprint will put him on P1. Dan looking for another pole position this season and is hopefully going to take it with an absolute bang. Gary 131 currently his closest rival. No Big Boy Brazier tonight. He's unwell, so he's unable to make the trip to Australia. As the championship standings then look a little like this. Unorthodox on 230 points, 46 clear of Big Boy Brazier, who can lose out to Gary 131. No Forzy either that could have got a top 3 spot. He's down in 4th. A Smith cannot catch him. Further back is PN Motorsport, who can get 5th. Lucas Roth in 7th. He can overtake the pair of them. Mazda down in 8th, not here. He dropped out a long time ago. Craig E can get a top 8 finish here, with Fury not absent as well. Leon Fernie absent, so Smokey Devil and Rabbit Joe have a big opportunity to get past him. DJ Phil down in 14th place, with Tibbs in 15th. Sooty tied with him in 16th place. Buzzy Boy and Bryn, Shane and Dean Wasocki bringing up the rear. Is Dan Pole from Gary from Sooty, PN, A Smith, Rabbit Joe, Smokey Devil, Craigie from DJ Phil, and Lucas Roth bringing up the rear. The Constructors' Championship looks a little like this, and it is the Carlin team who can capture that Constructors' Championship tonight, just by scoring points, really. They are 45 clear of Prema, who are only 10 clear of ART. High-Tech are then P4, Campos in 5th, Trident P6, Univirtuosi are in 7th, HWA Race Lab are in 8th, Charoux down in 9th, Dams 10th, and MP Motorsport last. And bringing up the rear there then, Sir Unorthodox for him. It is another pole position to his name, and his 6th pole position of the current campaign, taking him to 22 pole positions overall. And that for Dan is an absolutely fantastic achievement for him going into season 7. This will be the last time you'll see Dan on the track until the 29th of September in the GT3s, back in the Pro category to try and reclaim his crown. But first of all, he's got to win one more championship tonight, and that is the Championship of the Constructors here in Australia. Albert Park, a fantastic circuit, a fantastic scenery for our final race of the season. What a setting we have got for tonight's race. Absolutely beautiful circuit. A real favourite between a lot of drivers here, and a track that could provide a lot of entertainment. Blue skies, and it looks to be that way for the entirety of the sprint race. The medium and the super soft tyre are the tyres to choose, and as we know, in the sprint race you do not have to pit, so therefore you should go all the way through on that medium harder compound tyre to get you to the end of the race then. So as I said a moment ago, Dan Davis, Unorthodox, won't be back out on track until the 29th of September, ready for his pro return, if you will, as we are go on the formation lap. And there is the tyre that everybody is on. And for Dan, he's got 2 more commentary sessions left. He's got the Nürburgring and Monza on ACC, which is coming to an end. 2 more races to go there. And then we've also got the final couple of rounds. So we also have a potential Indy 500, depending on if we can get someone to stream it. A bit of a fun race, if you will, an Indy 500 on the Thursday night, the Thursday before the season starts. I myself, I'm not here for this one. We hope that this one will get underway. Oh, we hope this one will go ahead, should I say. So the formation lap here then. And everybody coming through. Lucas Roth wasting no time on his formation lap here. He wants to get on with this one. Evening to PM Motorsport and Plava in the chat. Let's hear from you all in the chat. Hope you're well on this Sunday evening. Round 19 of this championship. And the poll going out for who you think will win round 19. If you disagree with that, let us know in the comments who you do think. One lone Prema, and that's really going to hurt them in this on this championship constructors battle to the end of the season. 10 drivers. Shame we couldn't have more out there for the final time this season then. As the cars now line up on the grid. Rabbit Joe was wasting no time. He's already lining up P5 in his grid slot. As on Orthodubs, the final car to come around. Just making sure his tyre preparation is absolutely bang on and ready to go. So everybody's starting to line up. There's Joe, A. Smith and PM Motorsport slot into place. There's Sutty and Gary, they slide in as well, as does Unorthodox. And this first race for Rabbit Joe tonight is race number 100 for him. So he's bringing up the milestone of 100 races tonight in this sprint race. He joined us on commentary last week. Let's hope he has a good race this week. We wish him all the best in his race then. But we are about to be green and go. And it's a drive-through penalty for DJ Phil for a jump start. And who was that by the back of the pack with a drive-through as well? I think Sutty Apex. Yes, Sutty here has jumped the start and gone an absolute mile. And that from Sutty Apex is a little wayward from him though. But down into turn 1, Lucas Roth already defending from Craig Eden as they head down towards turn 3 now. Gary's made up a couple of places over Phil. Dan's got past PN Motorsport as well as we drop down the pack. Lucas Roth from Craig E, Smoky Devil. And then it's Rabbit Joe. For some reason, all the cars seem to be ghosting here. And sliding through the corners they come now. And that's an absolute shame to see that the cars are ghosting. So clearly the lobby hasn't been set up right. So drivers are just driving through everybody at the moment. So Sutty Apex from Lucas Roth from Smoky Devil. Gary 131 from Rabbit Joe. A. Smith, Craig E on Orthodubs. DJ Phil, PM Motorsport here then at the moment. And I cannot wait to delete this game because it's done nothing but cause absolute stress and pandemonium on the PlayStation recently. Keeps disconnecting me for some reason, and it's now costing us a lot of time on the sectors there. Who is that who's had a spin? That is A. Smith on Unorthodox, who's had a moment. So your champion has had a spin already. Evening to Big Boy Brazier in the chat. Sutty Apex then has to come in for a drive-through penalty, and I imagine we expect him in at any time now. Into the pits he comes for his drive-through. Lucas Roth from Smoky Devil, who was wide. Gary 131 is now into third place. Rabbit Joe up another place as well. Smoky from Craig EP and DJ Phil in for his drive-through, then on Orthodubs and A. Smith. Lucas Roth, though, ahead of Gary 131 already. And where will Sutty Apex feed out? He's coming towards the end of the pit lane now. He might get out before A. Smith here is out the pit lane. He comes now. And down the pits, out onto the track he goes. And on his way, DJ Phil is in for a pit stop here then. So not a drive-through yet for him. He's on his pit stop. So Lucas Roth from Gary at the minute, the closest fight on track. PN has just got himself past Craig. And that's because Craig E's had a moment. Dan down in 7th place, quite a way back from him. So it's Lucas Roth from Gary 131 early in this race then. And for Gary 131, a chance to score some more points, a chance to take second place away from Jamie Brazier here in the championship then. So what we're going to do is we will redo the lobby for the feature race and just put up with this for the time being. So Lucas Roth from Gary 131 here then. Already a good start for Lucas Roth and Gary. They have cleared Rabbit Joe by some 2 seconds, who's on his 100th appearance here then. And for Gary, he's going to want to make sure he gets on with this and make sure he gets past Lucas Roth as quick as possible. Down the start straight we come. We will redo the lobby for the feature race and put it in the correct grid order. Make sure that the damage is on and everything. As Gary sets the fastest lap of the race. Dan's up to P6 at the moment, so he's made a few places. Here's Craig E with Sooty Apex trying to gain on him. A. Smith 9th, DJ Phil down in 10th. He's still got a drive-through penalty to do. Here is Lucas Roth then. On to the third lap of 23, and Lucas Roth just getting closer, just being caught by Gary here. And Lucas Roth, we've got to keep an eye on his fuel level because he's ran out of fuel so many times this season. Well, Lucas Roth, I want to make sure he gets to the own. On board Gary 131, it's clear behind him. DJ Phil once again in the pit lane, that'll be to do his drive-through presumably. And Gary 131 now looking to get his 25th race win and a milestone for him tonight potentially. And what an opportunity he's got in this race so far. 6 tenths off the back of Lucas Roth. DRS not open until the end of this lap, I do believe. But on board Gary 131. Sooty's just getting close to Craig in. It's all a bit casual through there. DRS open this lap, apologies. So Gary's wing opens up. DJ Phil has cleared his penalty then. And there is a yellow flag in Sector 3. And Rabbit Joe is DNF'd. He's gone on the curb and that is a VSC. So Dan up to P5. Hopefully Joe then will come in to join us on commentary. So Joe has lost it on the curb and a VSC here means that Rabbit Joe will finish on his 100th appearance in P9, and what a shame for him. In P10, sorry, because that'll be no points in this first race of the evening. Sprint race obviously the top 8 score, but race number 100 nonetheless. And for Rabbit Joe, it is an absolute shame. We do have, for some reason, Sooty Apex has joined the commentary box. Rabbit Joe has joined the commentary box as well. And Joe, what happened there?
What happened? Well, 2 things. I thought damage was off, and I hit the curb.
Ah. So a bit of a spin on your end then, thinking that the damage was off.
Tell him about ghosting, Joe. Right, I'm off.
Yeah, and there's ghosting on.
Yeah, we're aware. We will redo the lobby in a moment.
Okay.
As you just heard Sooty Apex here, and then he has just left the party. We will redo the lobby for the second race. So just a mistake on your end then, Joe?
Yeah, I was obviously in 3rd place, feeling happy and confident, and I took the curb and settled the car the wrong place.
Ah. Well, a shame for you on your 100th appearance. That's obviously not the way you'd have wanted to start that one.
No, I was actually wanting to finish that race where I was, take my 100th and maybe even get a podium. But
well, we are back.
It's always 101.
Exactly. We are back underway, and Sooty Apex is right on the back of Craig E. And through the chicane they come, and Craig E a little slow through there. Now tucks back in behind Sooty Apex. A job done for Sooty. Can Craig E come back at him then? Sooty Apex has that DRS down the 3rd DRS. So 3 DRS zones today to look at, and that is going to stay as it is on Orthodubs and on the hunt down of PN Motorsport. Prema versus Carlin, but there's only one Prema out there on the track. And Dan is the man who's got to do this job at the minute, as Gary is getting closer to Lucas Roth here then for this race lead. And Lucas Roth's had a bit of worries, a bit of troubles this season, Joe, with fuel. Any word at the moment early on about his fuel so far?
No, I've not heard anything about fuel at the moment. I mean, he's obviously at the front, he's going to be pushing to stay at the front, and the other huge thing, drivers, it's a bit more of a challenge in some ways, is you're not as cautious with ghosting being on,
Yeah.
so it is pure pace, not just overtaking.
Yeah. Exactly. Dan then right on the back of PM Motorsport. In fact, he's going to go side by side with PM Motorsport, and Dan doesn't need the ghosting of PM to get the job done, because up the inside he goes, and that is job done on PM Motorsport, who might think of coming back at Unorthodox here and doesn't get that one done. So Dan now up into P4. He'll hunt down after Smoky Devil, but has some 3 seconds. He's about 11-12 seconds off the back of Gary 131 and his teammate Lucas Roth at the moment. And with the championship done, as you see there, Gary a bit of ghosting for Lucas Roth, who's gone way off there, and Gary gets himself up into P1 at the moment, so he has gone and has dropped Lucas Roth with him making that mistake. And that, Rabbit Joe, maybe some of the effects of ghosting just putting other drivers off, and it's certainly there. Looked like it put Lucas Roth off.
Yeah, that's definitely hurt him. I wonder if he got any damage or if he hit a wall. I didn't quite see it, but he's got a bit of time to make up from that one.
He has indeed. A. Smith within 1.3 of Craigie. Then no DRS. He'll have down the first 2 DRS zones, the start straight and the second straight, as Unorthodox now pumps in the fastest lap of the race. DJ Phil struggled already. He's nearly a lap down to Gary on the 6th lap of this race. And A. Smith then just on board him, look, trying to come out to Craigie here and have a look at Craigie. Into turn 1 and 2 they go. And Smithy, just a lot more confident than Craigie, manages to find a couple of tenths through the first couple of corners. Now a tight 3, 4 and 5 that'll be very tricky for A. Smith to get past. But like Joe said a moment ago, with the ghosting on, that helps Smithy kind of be a bit more aggressive. Craigie very wide there, and that just allows Smithy to get even closer to the back. And Craigie has span and has lost, I do believe, front wing there. And that big damage to Craigie. He's lost half his wing, and that will affect the car no end for Craigie, and that could bring DJ Phil back into play a little bit here. Dan, though, gaining on the back of Smoky Devil. That's then the next closest battle we have. And for A. Smith, a position gained and up into 7th place, and some more points scored for that ART team to catch the back of Prema in this Constructors' Championship battle so far. And Joe, that was a big spin for Craig. He's done well not to crash out of this race.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's obviously got the luck on his side, like me, but I mean, it might bring him into a battle with DJ Phil and make his race interesting.
Oh, Smoky Devil all on the curb, and he's now gone round. He's in the walls. That's gifted Dan another place. Smoky Devil reversing onto the track as Sutty and PN just being cautious. And Craigie's retired, so we've had a crash. And it is Craigie who will finish in 9th place. And that then will not bring out the safety car, but will give DJ Phil a few points. Smoky Devil did not pit there, and here comes A. Smith, who's allowed to get through past Smoky Devil on the ghosting, and we'll have to sort that one out for the next race. But Craigie then, that is an extra place, and up into P9 for him. Job done in this one. Unfortunately for Craig, that will not be the way he's wanted to end his 41st race start.
No, I mean, I didn't quite see the accident where he crashed out, so I don't know how it unravelled, but bad luck next time, mate. Yeah,
better luck in race 2 for Craigie then, and DJ Phil will be overtaking Craigie momentarily. The car has been cleared up, no need for a safety car, so we're down then to 8 runners, and a shorter grid tonight hasn't really made the entertainment factor a bit of a wow, as DJ Phil now up into the points, but nearly a lap down. You have to say his race is pretty much done, as Sutty Apex is now gaining on the back of PM Motorsport, Joe. And Australia, from the brief moment you got of it, what do you think?
It's an interesting track. It's quite fast, but there's a lot of corners, so I never knew which setup to pick, and I actually forgot to press the setup, so I got default. But yeah, no, it's keeps you on your toes.
It does indeed, as Gary sets the fastest lap, and that then is beaten by Unorthodox, and here comes Sutty Apex, 1.2 seconds off the back of PM Motorsport on a fast-flowing circuit here, Albert Park in Melbourne. And Sutty Apex really closing on PN. He is up for this tonight, and he'll be using the strategies of his F1 manager. And speaking of F1, we will be going to the F1 2022 game, which is cross-platforms. We could have some more Xbox and PC players joining the league as well, because it is cross-platform, and I know that's one that Joe spoke about. Sooty Apex, bit Riley on the curb there. Joe, I know that's one you've spoke about on the PC for maybe looking at in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if they go through, is it officially confirmed?
Yeah, it is cross-play, yeah.
That will change things for console racing, maybe widen cross-platform with racing, but also, as I know I've said to you, I've now got a PC, and eventually wanting to run away from console. It'll keep me involved in sim racing, in sim play, which will be great, and bring more people in.
Indeed it will. There's a very good evening to Peaceful Stepdad. It will hopefully create what is a 10-car grid into a 20-car grid and keep cars on the grid with PC players. And so Lucas Roth was taking the majority of the vote for the win in this first race over DJ Phil, Craigie and Smokey Devil. If you disagree with anybody in that vote, please do put in the chat who you think's going to win. But Gary, 10-11 seconds clear of Dan at the moment and matching each other's pace. That one is pretty much job done, isn't it? And really, for Dan and Lucas Roth, second and third, that seems to be the constructors wrapped up in the bag. Sooty Apex, DRS, wide open down the start straight, and he'll get a double dose of DRS as look at him gain through the first two corners there then, using a bit too much runoff on the outside of turn 2. That'll have compromised his run, and will he think of launching one into turn 3? No, he will not. As Smokey Devil then into the pit lane as this battle between PN Motorsport and Sooty Apex rages on yet again. So towards the middle sector they come now, and PM Motorsport just down on his best lap time and is being pushed hard by Sooty. A little too hard there because he runs a bit deep, and Sooty manages to get his nose up the inside, and because of the ghosting they didn't make contact, but Sooty Apex is through and up into P4 at the moment. And you have to feel sorry for PM Motorsport, Joe. He's on his own trying to keep second place in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, I mean, with this ghosting, it's not allowing him to defend and keep his kind of true line, because if someone's got the braking and the pace on you, wrongly, but everyone's going to do it, you're just going to go through them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're all racing against each other and you want to be up there.
Now, what's going off here? DJ Phil was holding Unorthodox up a little bit, and Lucas Roth has now came into the pit lane, and they've got a front wing ready. So Lucas Roth has hit the wall somewhere and is having a change of front wing. For some reason, DJ Phil's pitting for the super softs. Now, them tyres are going to stretch to go 13 laps here. Lucas Roth now down to 6th place. They've pretty much just got to score points in this race to get the job done. A. Smith and PN and Sooty, though, Sooty now on the podium in this third race. What we might be able to do is get a quick chat from the guys on the podium while we reset up the second lobby, as Sooty Apex here then onto the podium. It has PN still within 0.7 of a second, so PN hasn't given up on this one yet, Joe.
No, I mean, as well, we've got DJ Phil 4 seconds away from Smokey, and he's on the better tyre. Maybe he'll catch up and gain enough time to relax it.
No, DJ Phil's a minute and 4 behind Smokey Devil.
Oh, yeah, don't you worry.
Yeah,
I've just got that now.
Yeah. So Smokey Devil's time has refreshed, and DJ Phil a minute and 4 seconds behind Smokey Devil.
But he could be trying for the fastest lap time.
Potentially so. Gary, then, your leader, 11 seconds clear of Unorthodox, and that gap has pretty much stayed at 11 seconds for the entirety of this race. And down the start straight he comes to start lap 11. Gary 131 at the moment in a world of his own, and it was a mistake from this man early on. Unorthodox, your current champion, that let Gary 131 get such a gap, and it's the same gap from Gary to Unorthodox as it is from Sooty to Unorthodox, as Dan pumps in yet another fastest lap of the race. PM Motorsport may have just been in DRS range here, and a double DRS zone will keep him interested. He is in the DRS range, and can PN Motorsport now get himself a little bit closer to Sooty Apex? Down into turn 1 and 2 comes PN and Sooty, and another helping of DRS on this part of the straight that flaps open now will really help PN Motorsport just keep with Sooty. But you have to feel that PN He's just losing a bit of time to Sooty Apex in this one. And he's going to have to give that one up as a bad job, as he's got to worry about A. Smith behind him.
Yeah, I mean, well, A. Smith, will A. Smith have DRS, or is...
Not just yet. It's when he's within a second at the DRS detection zone, which Dan is coming up to now, which is around the... After this chicane, it's then around halfway around this left-hand bend. And Smithy 2 seconds off the back of PN. PN won't have DRS over Sooty Apex neither now, so he's just dropped out of the 1 second zone of that. As A. Smith gains 0.3 of a second through that chicane, and once again will charge now. He's gaining time hand over fist over PM Motorsport, and that's now down to 1.7. He needs to find 0.7 of a second in this corner. That is a big ask, as Gary now pumps in another fastest lap of the race, and that gap Gary to Unorthodox has stayed at 11 seconds and hasn't really changed.
I mean, it's going to take one massive error from Gary and a lot from...
DJ Phil, sorry Joe, is in the wall as Lucas Roth laps him now. DJ Phil, no front wing, so will have to make yet another pit stop and is about to be a lap down on Smoky Devil. So you feel that for DJ Phil here, that is 8th place and 1 point in the bag, as he's struggling.
Yeah, I mean, he's just now kind of riding it out for the fun of it, I think, and that's maybe why he chucked the super softs on, just to help keep that car in control and not do a rabbit. Well, he's done a rabbit, except he's still in this race and will score a point. So DJ Phil back into the pit lane. Smithy, though, now under a second to PN Motorsport. That gap is 0.7. And when they come to the next detection zone, they will get another helping. Smithy will get his first help in a DRS. That gap's now down to 0.4 of a second as Smoky Devil puts the lap on DJ Phil. DJ Phil is nearly 2 laps down on Gary 131 now. So his race has gone from bad to worse. Out the pits he comes as Gary's coming towards the end of the track. Here comes A. Smith then to the outside of PN Motorsport, and PN yields that time and lets A. Smith go by, and Smithy will have DRS to try and hunt down Sooty Apex and try and get himself on the podium, maybe keep him and Gary 131 in a Constructors' Championship fight then, as towards the end of the lap they come. PN Motorsport, the lone Prema, is now down in 5th. Yeah, I mean, 5th isn't a bad position, and he's still in fighting range from Smithy. If he wants to get back into it, and he can put the laps in.
Yeah, 100%. As Gary then is coming up to lap DJ Phil for the second time. DJ Phil pulls over to let Gary through. Dan is now 12 seconds behind Gary, so Gary's actually gained time over Dan. And let's just check Lucas Roth, who's now going to be hunting down PN after his wing change. Just over a +1 on his dashboard, it's saying, on his steering wheel. Just over that for fuel. So he's got 10 laps to go and he's at the moment fine on fuel so far. So down towards turn 1 and 2 they come. Lucas Roth then is at the moment on course to maybe pick up a few more points over PM Motorsport, and that might be what the team need, Joe, to keep to win this constructors battle, because for ART they've got to outscore Carlin by 11 points to stay in this fight for the final race of the season. At the minute ART will score 10-15 points, and for Prema they'll score 8 plus 3, so they'll score 11, and it's not going to be enough really.
I mean, to say there's only one race left after this one, it's always a tough one, but anything to try it.
Yeah, anything to try and get to the end. DJ Phil then 8th place and a lap down, and you have to say that is pretty much him done in this one. He's a lap down to his rival Smoky Devil. He's been lapped by Gary 131 as A. Smith and PM Motorsport still 2 seconds between them, but A. Smith now has the chance to hunt after Sooty Apex, and can Smithy get the job done on Sooty then? 3.6 seconds, Joe, and we're on to lap 14 of 23. That's it's not quite a second a lap, but it's still a big ask.
Yeah, it's a big ask, and I mean, you've got anything could happen. Someone could crash out, bring them to restart behind each other, and that changes the whole game. Or, I mean, A. Smith could have a mistake, so he could have a mistake.
Indeed, he could, Dan.
I think maybe drivers are hoping for to help them out.
Yeah, indeed, they could. As then we come on to lap 14, there is 10 laps to go, or 9 laps, including this one. And that is A. Smith, a little slow through that sector. He's actually lost a bit of time to Sutty, but has still increased his gap to PN. Lucas Roth not able to gain on PN that much. He's found 2 seconds this lap, but hasn't found a lot in terms of getting forward and getting on the back of PN Motorsport. Smokey Devil then is a lap ahead, and Gary 131 pumping in yet another fastest lap of the race. And does this man have an answer for it? And what has happened to PN? He's had a moment, and that's going to cost him in his battle with Smithy, and could cost him a place to Lucas Roth. It looks like he's managed to keep it out the wall though, Joe.
Yeah, when I was just watching him, I thought he'd gone into the wall and lost a wing, but it looks like he's still got everything.
And that's the yellow flag, sector 1. That is your champion who's gone off at turn 1 and 2. Dan on Orthodubs then has made a mistake at 1 and 2, and this could bring Sutty Apex into play. So Lucas Roth, 5 seconds off the back of PM Motorsport now, and for Dan, he's only 5 seconds up the road from Sutty Apex. But what, again, the car doesn't look badly damaged. It's what it's done to the tyres more than what it's done to the car.
Yeah, I mean, well, with 14 laps in, you've got 14 lap hold mediums, so as that, finish those tyres off for a few laps, and the rest of this race is critical to anything you can get.
Yellow flag, sector 2, just as we came away from Dan. I think Dan has made another mistake, because Sutty Apex now is within a second here, and Sutty Apex looks to make a move on Dan. Can't get the job done. Dan manages to hold that one off, and Sutty then looking for a chance at P2 maybe in this race to score him some more points to get himself up the championship standings. Sutty to the outside of Dan, and with that ghosting, there is no worry about going through them, but they manage to keep each other room and keep each other from ghosting. But there's a real fight on now from Sutty Apex and on Orthodubs, as down the back straight they come. Sutty has DRS on Dan, and all over the place goes Dan. To the outside goes Sutty, and Dan still manages to hold on to this one. And the gap between Sutty and Dan, you feel, with the 2 DRS zones coming up at the start straight and the second straight, Dan has pretty much lost this race. It's going to take Gary a massive mistake to lose this one.
Yeah, but with them fighting as well, it's bringing A. Smithy a lot closer towards them. Maybe even bring them into the fight, and who knows will be third.
Exactly, as Sutty then all over the place as Dan has a bit of a wiggle, and Sutty got the better run, and now Sutty has the chance, even with the ghosting, to try and make a move as they come down towards turn 3. Sutty around the outside of Unorthodox, and even with the ghosting, look, these two still want to race as clean and fair as possible. Dan now gives Sutty the room on the inside, can't get it done. Dan all over the curb. I tell you what, Dan is riding his luck through this part of the track.
Yeah, I mean, the curbs on this, they're not actually that bad. I just got unlucky.
Sutty Apex then will probably be getting DRS from Unorthodox yet again as they come towards the next detection zone, ready for that short straight. Gary now 30 seconds up the road, A. Smith 2.9 behind, and I'll tell you what, a few more places for Smithy, and this could really bring ART just managing to try and stay in this constructors fight here then. Sutty not the best of runs through there as Dan, bit of a wiggle, and he lost time to Sutty then as Dan had a huge moment on the curb. Joe, Dan just riding his luck a little bit here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dan's already got the championship, so he can race it and ride his luck to just try and defend constructors.
Indeed it does. Lap 17 of 23, and Dan still defending from Sutty Apex, and it's looking for the constructors like Joe says, but Dan Just maybe had to take them 2 laps there, Joe, just to get them tyres back to where they needed to be and in that good window. Lucas Roth gaining on the back of PM Motorsport, and he'll have DRS now. Just keep an eye on the Sooty Dan fight for me, Joe, while we watch Lucas Roth and PM Motorsport then down towards turn 1, and the DRS will open. And I tell you what, as much as A. Smith may want to find a couple of places for extra points, if Lucas Roth gets some more points, that'll put Carlin's chances to bed even more as he gains on PM Motorsport here, but doesn't gain enough. Sooty Apex looks like he's just dropped off the back of Dan a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if Sooty gets past, it's going to be a fight to the end.
It is going to be a fight to end. Lap 17 of 23. Gary is about to start lap 18 of 23 as he's exited the final corner now. And Dan, once again, through this part of the circuit, and this is where Rabbit Joe lost it, and I know the curb on the outside is a bit of a bugger. Sooty outside DRS range. Lucas Roth, though, is past PN Motorsport, and PN will have DRS. Maybe not, actually. I think he was just outside that second range as he comes through the DRS detection point. Can he hold off from Smoky Devil now? But Lucas Roth, P5, and he'll be licking his lips because that'll mean he'll catch PN in these current standings. He is 1 point behind PN Motorsport, and he's some 6 points behind A. Smith. So we'll want to try and catch A. Smith, but that gap, 16 seconds. That's a big ask to do from here, as we say evening to Smithy in the chat. Clive, the GOAT, cheering on his brother in this one, as Sooty has to gap back down under 1 second here, Joe.
Yeah, it's kind of riding between the 3/10 and 6/10, and just keeping it at least he's got the consistency, so any mistakes of Dan's he's going to take advantage of and get that time back.
Little wiggle though on the curb there for Sooty Apex as down in towards the middle sector they come now, and Gary, by the time these enter the middle sector, is just entering sector 3. Gary's got 4 corners left to do before he's on lap 19 as Dan weaving all over the straights here, and yeah, trying to break the slipstream from Sooty Apex. Not a fan of the weaving, but it's not blocking, so to speak, at the moment. He's not blocking Sooty Apex at the minute. A big wiggle for Dan on the exit curb, and a heart-in-mouth moment there for Dan, you have to say.
I've got to say, I didn't quite catch that one. A little bit of a wiggle for Sooty, but nothing too dangerous that I just saw. But yeah, they're getting close.
They are getting closer. Sooty's looking to send one up the inside, and we've lost Smoky Devil from the race. So weary Smoky Devil on track. Yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. Let's go on board Gary 131. Yeah, he's lost it on the outside. Sooty Apex has got past Unorthodox, and as Dan tries to come back at him, so DJ Phil, can you believe it, will get himself an extra point in this race.
I mean, he's just riding it out now and he's staying comfortable, but it's getting him points and he's doing well for himself.
He is doing well for himself. That then, 134th race appearance for Smoky Devil, will put him just above Argent on the all-time appearance list, as Rabbit Joe goes above Bryn today. And for Craigie, he goes above Aidan Bennett, getting close to his 50th. God, it's been a while since we've said drivers are going to be on 50 race appearances at the moment. As Smithy will make his 50th shortly. He's on 37, this is 38. PN's the same as is Craigie. And these two having an epic scrap, and Dan's got back out of Sooty Apex then, and Gary looks set for his 25th race win, a milestone for Gary 131. Put him on the same race wins as myself, and it'll put him 3 behind Big Boy Brazier, but Gary's just been on another level tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's kept the laps consistent, he's stayed in front, and it's been his race ever since he's gone there to win and lose. And you know what, he's done the job. 3 laps left, can't say it yet, but he's got it good.
Yeah, he's got it in the back, 30 seconds. Sooty will have DRS over Dan, and has Dan just broke that that gap to Sooty a little bit more to maybe then extend that run. Dan, though, having some almighty wiggles through these corners, and Dan really trying to make sure he stays out of Sooty Apex here. Keegs, 15 seconds to Smithy. That one, you'd imagine, is not going to happen. For DJ Phil, he is still 2 minutes behind Smoky Devil. He wants to hope that he doesn't have any more incidents, because if Gary laps DJ Phil, who's now just past Smoky Devil, so he wasn't 2 minutes behind, he's caught up and he's now a lap behind PM Motorsport once again, and DJ Phil could probably count himself lucky to get a P7 in this first race.
I mean, like I said earlier, he's doing well for himself. He's just having a nice, joyful ride on F2, and he's getting 7th place out of it.
He is getting 7th place out of it.
And you know what? Those super soft tyres are keeping him on track. Well,
they are. And this will be interesting, I think, Joe, for yourself and others to know that he's done 7 laps on them and he's still going on them, as Sooty Apex just got himself a 3-second penalty there for track limits. So Sooty Apex been told off by the stewards, and even if he gets past Dan, he's now got to get well out in front of Dan.
Yeah, I think for Sooty to have this, Dan's got to have a big mistake, and then he's got to keep it consistent.
He's had a few big mistakes, as Smithy's 4.6 off the back. He's not been able to catch these guys up, as that up front is DJ Phil, who is about to become 2 laps down to Unorthodox and Sooty Apex, as through turn 1 and 2 they come. As they come through turn 1 and 2, Gary is already halfway around this track, and Gary is long gone into the distance for his 25th race win, and we will get to word with Gary and Dan and Sooty Apex, provided they are the top 3, because at the minute Sooty's got to be careful as DJ Phil parks it to the side to make sure he is well out of the way. If Smithy can find 1.6 seconds here, he's in with a shout, as DJ Phil a 10-second penalty for exceeding the track limits. That'll be because he's parked at the side of the road to let the back markers through. If A. Smith can find 1.6 seconds here, he could be within that 3rd place podium.
Yeah, I mean, Sooty's just gonna... I think the smart thing for Sooty to do is ride it out. Don't push too hard. Those tyres are worn out, but keep it 3 seconds in front of Smithy.
Well, he
can do it.
He's got that 5 seconds at the moment, so he's got a 2-second buffer. As Gary, look, when you just think, look, you're 30 seconds up front, you're well out in front, goes and pumps in another fastest lap. And with Dan having 3 corners still to do, Gary's already through turn 1 and 2. 2 corners left for Dan, and Gary's at turn 3. 1 corner left for Dan, and Gary's at turn 4. So Gary is well out in front. For Unorthodox here, it has been second best in this race in a 1 minute 30 lap, as Dan then goes and beats Gary's fastest lap by 0.03 of a second. A 136.066 was Gary, and a 136.063 is Dan. So Dan just bringing that time down, and for Sooty, he's lost a lot of time to Unorthodox and is now getting close to the back of A. Smith here. And A. Smith has brought that gap down to him.
Yeah, maybe Sooty's struggling a tiny bit, or...
Yeah, let's just go on board and see if Sooty is struggling, as he's lost a lot of time to Dan.
Yeah, he's also... he's lost half a second to A. Smith, and that's big in the situations he's with.
It is. He's 1.6 seconds from being demoted off the podium for A. Smith, and that extra place for A. Smith, I don't think he's going to keep ART in the constructors, but will give them a solid foundation for their fight against Prema for second place, while they're both outscoring PN Motorsport. Then Gary crosses the line to start the final lap of the race, and Sooty Apex is being caught by A. Smith here. That gap now down to 4.3. So A. Smith on a real charge, but this man on board, Gary 131, has just been, Joe, on another level in this first race.
Yeah, he's pumped in those laps, he's kept it consistent, and he's run his own race.
Oh! And he nearly lost the rear of the car, hitting the curb too hard there, but manages to hold on to it. Lap 23 of 23. Gary 131 looks like he's bringing this one home. Sooty Apex, though, is 1.4 ahead of this man, Gary's teammate, who's just made a mistake himself and gone on the grass a little bit and has lost himself 0.3 of a second there. I think that one may be job done for Sutty.
Yeah, I think that little bit of mistake, it's just helped Sutty out a bit, and if he rides it home, he's got it.
Indeed he has, and lap 23 of 23, and this man coming to the end of his lap. It's going to take a while for the others to come round, but he's been fantastic in this opening race so far. And Gary 131 is going to take himself his 25th race win. And that, you have to say, is absolutely fantastic from him.
It's been an incredible race from him. I mean, he might not have seen loads of action, but his lap DJ Phil might have given him a bit of entertainment to the race.
Yeah, it might have done as he wins the race and he's crossed the line for the race win. Gary 131, your race winner here in the sprint race, and the champion of F2s, not of F1 as I said last week. The champion of F2 looks like he's going to come across to take that all-important second place. And 8 more points as he comes to the line now, and a lovely weave across the line. Sutty Apex has done enough then to hold on to third place, and a good job and a good drive from him. Ace Smith, close but not close enough for fourth place for him. Lucas Roth was leading for so long and it all went wrong for him, got some wing damage. He's down in P5. And for PN Motorsport, it will be P6, and a bit disheartened, under the weather himself, flying the flag for Prema on their own. He will cross the line for P6. DJ Phil has already finished as well, and PN Motorsport then will take your P6. So Gary gets his 25th race win. That is the first milestone for him in terms of race wins. He's now equalled himself with me, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes' time with the start of the feature race. We just have to redo the lobby as Dan gets driver of the sprint race. We'll get the top 3 in for a quick chat before the feature race. Don't go anywhere. Just get Gary, Sutty and Dan in.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is...
Gary's... Wait, who's invited to this party already?
Sutty and Dan.
Gary.
Ten drivers is boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
know what? I made it 3 laps.
Just put it on my phone. Yeah, you made 3 laps on your 100th.
I think I'm gonna have to wait till 200 to make that one up.
So Gary 25. Oh, I can't wait to delete this fucking game.
Why just for me inside?
Because you got top 3. Because I'm going to redo the lobby.
Oh, okay. I thought as much. I keep my pole position, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna redo the grid. So.
Sutty's tires were fucked at the end, man.
This game, man, just does my head in. Just does my fucking head in.
It's annoying. Because actually, strategy in this race is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
The tires were fucked by the end, man.
Oh, nice.
Struggling. This race could be interesting, especially with damage on now. Wow, contact.
What will be, yeah.
Because Gary was fucking gone. I couldn't get
Quick today.
Yeah, I don't know what he's running. I'm running balance. Geeks was annoying because he kept trying to go faster and faster and he kept binning it.
Brilliant.
Has me and Geeks won...
I've not even looked, I'll tell you in just a minute.
Oh, man, I'm sweating.
By the way, thank you. Thank you very much. I enjoyed how you and Sutty tried to keep it as if you was properly racing and not just relying on the ghosts.
Mate, I also realised that there was nothing going on. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'm going to pretend I made a mistake and then just drop back and have some fun with sight. Tag. That's for you as well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. There was a point where it was like we wasn't going to hit each other, and we were so lucky it ghosted.
Is Sooty coming in?
I told him, but he wasn't there. He went to try and hit me then.
PN 42, Craigie Dunn, A Smith 38.
I'll try and join the party. Hang on. Have you told Gary to join?
I've just texted him, yeah.
I'll be
Right. Yeah. You could win that other party, Joe. Thank you very much.
Do I have to reload this game?
Possibly so, yes. Right, I'm just going to pop to the toilet.
Oh shit, I've got a fucking echo stream.
I've rejoined the wrong party again, haven't I?
Huh?
You're in the right party. What a fucking penis. What's a penis?
Me for crashing out, relapse it.
Knew it was gonna happen.
Told me damage was off.
I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. Why are you going off like that anyway?
No, I was just not being as cautious. I was taking a nice line. I wasn't intending to. And yeah, they just kind of went off.
I'm back.
This fucking pleb just joined the lobby, didn't realise it was the right one, and then he fucked off.
Brilliant.
Can I question what's happening?
Was the biggest pile of crap.
We're redoing the lobby, Keegs, because damage and ghosting and everything was on, and it was boring as fuck.
I had noticed.
I can't join. It just says join in session for about half an hour.
You've got to redo. You've got to redo the game.
Can I just say that my podium was definitely down to my start.
My wheel guys, no, my wheel
Just say this is for the podium, Keegs, so you and Joe are free to go back to the other party.
What do I have to do, Matt? Restart the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't normally do a podium for the first race, do you?
No, but it just gets the bit going, you know, just something to chat about while we wait.
Oh, you'll have to be fucking quick because I only got one formation left.
Oh, I'm not going to do it during the formation. I'm going to do it just as people's readying up. So Dan was on pole. Gary was second.
I
might change my setup, man.
What were you using?
Oh yes, we can now, can't we? We can't tell you, but it wasn't working.
I'll tell you, because I don't care, because it's the last race of the season. I was running balance.
Were you?
Yeah,
So was I, it was
Oh dear.
What were you on?
What are you going to run next?
Increased top speed.
He fucking said it, Keeks, didn't he?
What?
Mine. He kept saying that increased top speed is quicker. We're like, nah. It's balance. It's fucking balance.
I don't know. That's just what I guessed. I've done no practice. And then when I see your time, I thought, maybe he's gone a bit lower.
PN's fourth.
I mean, my tyres started dying towards the end quite badly.
Fucking used to 2 laps of me and I nearly binned at big time. I was fucking on piss of myself.
Tyre wear is bad here, isn't it?
Gary, how much were you laughing when you see my start?
Oh, I was pissing myself. I thought everyone was going to go. I thought everyone was going to copy you.
I flipped off the X button. I was like, oh no!
I nearly went with him.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. My foot had a little fucking wiggle.
My foot had a wiggle, but I realised my hand was still really holding tight on the clutch, so I wasn't going nowhere.
Have you not got a clutch pedal?
Huh?
You not got a clutch pedal?
No, I was using the clutch paddle.
What the fuck for?
So when you hold it, you select the gear, get the revs, and then release it, and it goes. Manual
Well,
start.
Just do that with your fucking clutch pedal.
I can't be arsed with the clutch pedal.
You're on the
Oh,
wheel, Gary.
Yeah. Done this on the wheel all year.
Are you still running auto?
Oh, I'm not telling you that.
Because I haven't for the rest of the season.
Sorry, what was with that start, by the way?
What was that? Everyone, it just totally glitched out at the green for me.
Lies.
Where the fuck's me teammate? What's going on here?
He told me his finger slipped.
I had the X button held, but I wasn't holding down enough, and I must have let it up, and I just went. I thought, I'm going now.
Smoky Devil
When are you
was
going to do these
seventh.
interviews? You're doing them now?
I'm just sorting the grid out and then I'm going to do them.
It was a majestic start, though, wasn't it, Matt?
It was alright, yeah. Who are we waiting on now? Just a Smith. Literally just Smithy.
I've sent him an invoice.
Me and Dan tried.
Has he reloaded the game?
I don't know. I'll go back in the other party. 2 seconds.
Did you see me dropping it, man?
No, we saw yellow flags and then the camera panned out and he was on the outside, but yeah.
Yeah, me and Smithy both dropped it. And that shit came.
Brilliant.
This is a good little race, to be fair.
So me and Dan look like we put a good show on.
Yeah, so I thank Dan and I'll thank you as well because you left each other room and looked like you was racing properly. But all the one moment you nearly came together, which then ghosted you, Sooty.
Was that by any chance the one where I missed me braking?
Potentially so, yes. But that was the only moment. But all that it was the only thing that really happened. And then me and Joe were chatting and I forgot we were sat watching Dan still and he was 3 seconds in front of you. It's like, oh shit, yeah. Change driver.
I did a typical tyre thing, mate. They were on 69% at the end.
He's just reloading the game.
Yep.
What were your tyres like at the end, Gary?
Fucking terrible last 2 laps. I was turning to go around the corner and going straight on.
Yeah,
Something
I
nearly
was-
blew is.
I'm not fucking surprised with Sooty though, to be fair.
I'll tell you what made me laugh. You know it was Ghoston was on?
Yeah.
Into the like third from last corner, I sent it to go through Keys, and he still went in the gravel. I
He,
thought,
he bossed
maybe
it.
that's fucking- I thought maybe they'd still give him a little touch or something, but
I think it's because
You know, he was pissed at himself.
I think it's because we raced that much without damage, we still raced. It's on.
I knew that we didn't have it, I was just trying to put a show on.
Joe was funny though. By the way, lads, damage is on.
While he was buried in the wall. Guys, damage is on. How do you know? We'll come around the corner and he's buried in the wall.
Did make us chuckle. didn't it?
Right, that should be set. Right.
Right, maximum top speed.
I'm going for an interview. Dan, ready up for me now. Then we'll start an interview. So we're back here then for the F2s, and we have the top 3 in the podium with us now. And Unorthodox 16 was your second place man from Gary 131, who was the race winner. So you're saying Dan's won this season. I forgot Gary actually took a race win. But we will start with Sooty Apex, who got third place, and that was eventful, Sooty, at the start.
Yeah, I think the podium only came because of the lightning start and after reactions, to be honest. It was just like lightning.
You had a good battle with Dan in the midfield, but it just wasn't to be.
Oh, no, I had a good little battle with Dan, but just struggled with Mass and left. Ended up like nearly over 70% towards the end of the race.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in race 2, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
And Dan, we'll get a quick word from you briefly as well. Didn't have the pacey, Gary. You made a few mistakes in that one.
Yeah, I think I ran the wrong setup. Wasn't great. Getting a bit distracted by the ghosting. Australia's a mad track for tyre wear, so not a great round so far, but it was a giggle racing site.
Good race, though, from yourself. Another P2, another podium.
Yeah, definitely so. We're just focusing on constructors today. I mean, Keith's just trying to finish. Once we finish, then we should have this title wrapped up, hopefully.
Well, we wish you the best luck for race 2, buddy.
Cheers. Well done, Gary.
And Gary 131, the milestone for you, I suppose, your 25th race win in your Simplay Motorsport career.
happy days. Didn't know that, but cheers.
A pretty easy one, really, for yourself.
Yeah, it weren't really enjoyable, to be fair, with the ghosting, but obviously that's part of the game. So yeah, hopefully it's all fixed for this one, and we can actually have some side-by-side racing.
Indeed, we can. Well, we'll let you get back to it, Gary. Best of luck.
Cheers, bud. Thank you.
So that was the top 3 there then for the sprint race. Gary from Dan from Sooty Apex in that one then, and that was nice to see and just hear them briefly on the podium in this sprint race then. So we get ready to go for the feature race, and it's going to be a fascinating one to see who can do what as we go into this feature race. And everybody, all 10 drivers back on the grid, and looks like they are going to be ready to go in just a moment's time as we get ready here then. Get your votes in for who you think will win the feature race. And let's see who can do what in this one. And it should be an absolute fascinating one. The vote poll is in. PM Motorsport, Gary131, Sooty Apex, or Unorthodox. Who's going to win the final race of the season? Get your votes in now. And let's see who you think. As everybody will be doing their final preparations and getting ready to go here then. So away we go on the formation lap, and we'll get the lap data on, and we'll get the tyre, what they are running on, and everybody has gone super softs. So who's going to win this one then? Damage back on. You can tell it's back on because Smokey Devil's been disqualified for tapping another car, so you can tell that everything is all working and ready to go here in this one. A. Smith and Gary131 as well will be joining the Smokey Devil, waiting on the grid for this race to go. As we get ready to line up. Oh, and there is a spinner of Unorthodox and Lucas Roth. So I'm not sure what them two was doing there. So Sooty Apex, PM Motorsport, Rabbit Joe, Craigie, DJ Phil, the only cars to line up on the grid after everybody else has tapped everybody else. And away we will go in just a moment's time. Ready for this final race of the season. Joe will now be waiting on the grid. So it is just Craigie, DJ Phil and PM Motorsport to go. PM Motorsport will start fourth. No teammate for PM Motorsport tonight. He is flying the flag solo. How can you defend with ghosting, says PN. Yep, apologies to PN as well. Stupid game decides that it wants to glitch on me all the time. It's been like this now for quite a while, so I'll be quite glad to delete this one from the PlayStation and move over to F1 22 then, as we get ready on the grid. As DJ Phil lines up now, and everybody's names will come back to normal. And we get ready for the start of this race. And for the final time in the Formula 2s, it's green and go here at Albon Park in Melbourne. And Dan gets a good start alongside Gary131. He can't come across to defend that one, though, as Gary's already going to get up the inside. And Sooty's going to make this 3 wide, and around the outside, Sooty tries, and he can't get it done. He's had to back out of it. Yellow flags wave at turn 1 already. And Gary and Dan still side by side. The two pro champs going tooth and nail to this one. Into the inside goes Gary at turn 3. Forces Dan a little wide. He's now going to have the inside line for turn 4. And can Gary keep it pinned just all over the curb? Dan's now going to have to give him the room, and does he back out of this one? He does, and yields the place to Gary131, but back comes Unorthodox 16 at Gary here, and what an opening lap. This is side by side, wheel to wheel, no ghosting, and Gary manages to hold on to that through the outside. Sooty Apex looking interested in this as well, and this is the racing we want. Sooty looked to make it 3 wide, backed out of that, and Dan can't get it done. Down the pack though, it was Rabbit Joe who had the spin early on. Smokey Devil down tonight, PN's 8th, DJ Phil 7th, Craigie into 6th, Lucas Roth 5th, A. Smith 4th, and then your front 3 of Gary, Dan and Sooty Apex P3 all going at it at the moment. And what a start to this race. I think that was a bit of damage off of one of the cars, not quite sure who. As Dan, no DRS at the minute, they're all trying to feed their way through, and this is a great battle at the start. Gary a little deep, and Dan now has an opportunity up the inside. Can he get that job done? He can, but Gary's a fighter and will keep it around the outside, and I'll have the inside line then for the sharp left-hander, and the natural line. Dan onto the grass a bit, may have to yield the place. He does, and has to concede that, and Sutty looking interested with Lucas Roth and A. Smith having a battle in the background as they're side by side. Here comes Dan and Gary once again, and the Prema and ART up front having a battle, and PN's in the pits. Gary defends from Sutty. A. Smith around the outside of Lucas Roth. Job done for A. Smith. Great manoeuvre there from him. This is a better start to the race. This is what we wanted to see here at Simplay Motorsport. Gary a little deep. Sutty up the inside of Dan. That's a great move from him. P2 at the moment for Sutty Apex. What a fantastic manoeuvre. So Sutty, Dan, A. Smith, Lucas Roth, Craig E, DJ Phil, Smokey Devil, Rabbit Joe. Top 10 score points in this one. PM Motorsport coming out of the pits now. But Gary leading from Sutty in this second race. And can Dan get anything done about Sutty Apex? Will he look to send one back up the inside? Has a look, but can't get it done there. Cracking little scrap already at the start of this race. And if you're an Orthodox, you've got to be feeling that Gary's going to start to pull away. Here comes Dan, though. Sutty defending well. And this the racing we want to see. Just behind is the teammate of Daniel, Lucas Roth and A. Smith. All over the curbs. And what kind of run did Lucas Roth get? Dan's going to look around the outside of Sutty Apex. Lucas Roth jolts back to the inside on A. Smith. Up the inside of A. Smith, who didn't leave him much room there, and squeezes him out. Dan on Sutty Apex, side by side. There you go. And here comes Sutty back at Dan here, and keeping hold of that P2. Does he? Just about. Yes, they touch wheels. Has Dan done enough to keep it up the inside of Sutty? Huge lift from the pair of them. Here comes Sutty. Dan side by side with him down start lap 3. Gary, fastest lap of the race. Sutty goes to defend. Dan comes with him. He's going to try and keep that inside line. No, now to the outside. Can't get it done there. And Dan has to keep hold of P3 at the moment. But now Smithy and Lucas Roth are on the back. And Dan got the undercut on Sutty at turn 2. And here he comes into turn 3. Dan up the inside. Job done. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. But Sutty wants them carrots back. Well, this is a fast change of pace here from race 1 to race 2, and Sutty Apex now has to worry that if Dan gets away, he's going to be swallowed up by Lucas Roth and A. Smith, who are both coming at him as well. This is a fantastic battle from every driver on this grid at the moment. As Sutty, P3. Behind him, A. Smith, then Lucas Roth down the pack. Smokey Devils looking on the back of DJ Phil. Will he think of making a move? No, he doesn't just yet. Stays though right on the back of Phil. And what a final opening 3 laps this is tonight. Absolutely brilliant. Here comes Smokey Devil on DJ Phil. Is he going to look to make a move up the inside? No, can't get it done. Sutty just losing out a lot of time now, you feel, to Dan on Orthodubs. He's well over a second behind now. Here comes Smokey in the wall! DJ Phil made a late manoeuvre. And him and Smokey into the wall. That is wing damage. For the pair of them, you imagine we're going to see both of these two in the pits. Gary, fastest lap of the race, beaten by Dan. Phil in, Smokey in, Rabbit Joe, P8, P7. PM Motorsport might get himself a place or 2 as well. There's Gary, there's Dan, there is Sutty Apex with Smithy. DRS wide open and charging at him. So the boys in the pits. DJ Phil, a new wing for him. Smokey Devil having a new wing put on as well. Who's going to be the first out of the pits? You imagine it would be DJ Phil because his pit box was closer than Sutty. And DJ Phil out on the medium tyre ahead of Smokey Devil. And here comes PN, who will get 2 places. And the problem for DJ Phil is he may have to pit again at the end of this race. A. Smith now on the back of Sutty Apex. 0.3 of a second. And this could be an interesting battle as they come down towards the DRS zone. Lucas Roth just outside of it at the moment. So A. Smith having a look on Sooty Apex now. There's no ghosting this time around. And here comes A. Smith on the back of Sooty Apex. Can he get that last place? That last podium place, should I say. 0.4 of a second the gap. Not the best of runs from Smithy out the final corner compared to Sooty Apex, as Lucas Roth is now in the pits. We'll check if that's wing damage in just a moment. Smithy with that double DRS zone, though, that's going to promote Craigie, and it is a spot of wing damage for Lucas Roth, so he may have to pit again for them super softs towards the end. Craigie through, Rabbit Joe through, PN Motorsport a little too far back at the moment. Gary 2.6 up the road from Dan. Sooty Apex 2.6 behind Dan. And Gary looking for the London buses, looking for back-to-back race wins. Here comes A. Smith, 0.6 off the back of Sooty Apex then. Smoky Devil has got past and cleared DJ Phil. PM Motorsport will not get Lucas Roth. Lucas Roth just out the pits. You see on the map the yellow dot to the red dot. And this, the closest fight on track at the minute. But Sooty Apex just having the upper hand at the moment and just being able to pull away so far. So for Dan, he's got to hunt down Gary. Sooty is trying to hang on. He's not had the best of runs, obviously, with DRS for Smithy. That's really brought him a bit closer. And if he can nail this section here, you feel that A. Smith could really have a chance of... Oh, you say, could he get closer? Well, how much closer do you want to get than in the back of your rival in front? Gary fastest lap. Dan can't beat it this time, so Gary extends his gap. Smithy has lost all the time to Sooty, and even with DRS, he'll gain a little bit, but has lost a lot of time. Rabbit Joe trying to gain on the back of Craigie then. On his super soft tyres, and the guys were saying in the mid-session break that the tyre deck was hard and heavy on the rears. So it's going to be interesting to see what driver pits when the strategy will be. Virtual safety car. Now, why is that? Just try and see if I can see anybody off. Dan's lost 2 seconds to Gary. That's been made back up now. Smithy then. No front wing. So DJ Phil back in the pits. Not sure why. But Smithy, no front wing. So he's going to have to re-pit for that. DJ Phil in for a change of tyres. Well, he's going to have to pit to put their mediums back on, because you've got to do a minimum of 6 laps on each tyre, on both compounds of tyre. But while it's a virtual safety car, Phil coming back in to fit them tyres and to get them done. So Gary leads 3 seconds nearly clear of Dan as that gap comes down due to the VSC. Sooty Apex, 5 seconds behind, with A. Smith 9 behind him, but he has gonna have to pit. No front wing at all. And this will play into the hands of Craigie and Rabbit Joe, maybe even Lucas Roth, as the VSC is, I do believe, coming to an end, and is ended now just as Smithy comes into the pits. So Lucas Roth will be at full racing speed at the minute. So here comes Craigie. That'll be him past. Rabbit Joe gaining on him. Yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. That is DJ Phil, who's now got no front wing again, so he's been in the wars. Right, Lucas Roth. Can he get A. Smith? That'll be a big one for him. A. Smith coming out the pits now. Lucas Roth will fly past and will take that place from the ART driver. PM Motorsport, will he? I tell you what, this could be close. Smithy just getting up to speed. PN can see Smithy there, look, but he's not close enough. DJ Phil will have to pit, and Gary and Dan have that gap down to 1.2 seconds between each other. So Dan getting the jump over Gary through the VSC. And this then, Rabbit Joe as well trying to stay close to the back of Craigie. That's for a top 4 spot. This for the race lead. Right, DJ Phil still in the pits. Front wing going on now as cars coming past to lap him. Sooty Apex is coming past to lap him now. And Rabbit Joe, was he just within that second of DRS range coming into that final corner? Let's see. Did Rabbit Joe get DRS? He did. So here comes Joe then on Craigie. DJ Phil still in the pit lane. As they put a lap on him, Rabbit Joe will have a second helping of DRS down the second part of the straight. Smith wanted to join City in the car by the looks of it, says Jamie in the chat. I think you're right there, Jamie. Yellow flag sector 2. Now that's gone, so I'm not sure who that was. Was that Gary? It was Gary. Must have been. Damage on the front wing, and Dan's now 2 seconds clear. So Gary with a spot of damage, and 23 laps push them tyres hard. Well, it's not quite close to 23 laps left in this race yet, so Gary will be pushing them even harder. Rabbit Joe, though, in a battle with Craigie. DJ Phil came out of the pits. Is a minute 14 behind Smoky Devil again. And Joe said he'll have to make it up in race start number 101, and he's doing just that at the moment. Six-tenths of a second separate these two, and Gary losing even more time to Unorthodox here then. And that is not going to help him at all. As down the inside he goes now. Good move from Joe. Gary into the pit. Sooty up to second place. Can Craigie try and fight Joe back with that DRS, I wonder? That'll be the big question for him. Is can he come back and fight at him? Gary sounds like he's away, but he's dropped down to P5. Where's Lucas Roth? Oh, that one's going to be... You'd imagine that one's going to be in the favour of Gary. Sorry, microphone unplugged there. Gary, job done over Lucas Roth. Indeed it is. Craigie, just a little deep there. Closest battle on track is the Craigie Rabbit Joe one. But PN to A Smith. Smoky Devil trying to catch on PN as well. So we'll just stay with this fight a moment. As Dan, now then, 3 second time penalty for Unorthodox for track limits, multiple warnings. So for Dan here then, a spot of bother maybe come the pit stops, because Gary is on the medium tyre, and will Gary push that to the end, I wonder? 3 second time penalty though for Unorthodox for the track limits. Well, that is interesting. Don't forget you get your vote in for who you think will win this last race of the season. Dan currently 9 seconds ahead of Sooty Apex. Smoky trying to gain on PN Motorsport. The closest battle, Craigie to Rabbit Joe at the moment. As here comes Dan and Sooty to start lap 10. Here comes Craigie and Rabbit Joe to start their 10th lap. Now when do the pit stops come around? Because Gary and Dan and Sooty and Gary all said in the mid-session break that the tyres was an interesting topic. And these super softs, 2 compounds less than the mediums, don't forget, are going to wear a lot more. So for these boys here, I'm just looking on downstream, and it's Craigie very deep at turn 3, and that is into the gravel. That will help Gary catch no end. And I'm just looking on downstream, his tyres are starting to get, his front left especially, is starting to get into a window where they may need to pit. So did Gary box at the right time? Was Gary starting to struggle with his tyres? Was that the problem? And that battle then put to bed. Smoky Devil, closest battle to him is him and PN on track. Naughty Dan, says Jamie in the chat. Shame that Big Boy Brazier couldn't be out there on track with us tonight. I know he was looking to take another couple of race wins. If Gary wins one more, he'll be 2 race wins behind Jamie in the all-time standings. As DJ Phil lets Gary go there then. And lets Gary put a lap on him. Gary trying to catch Craigie. Smoky Devil within 1.7 now of PN Motorsport, the sole Prema driver. As Sooty Apex then is in. So is this an early stop? I'm not too sure. Rabbit Joe, his tyres don't look too bad at the minute. He's going to carry on, as is Craigie. So where's Sooty in relation to Gary? Coming out of the pits already. Gary's not even at the final corner, and he's lost that much time because of his front wing he had to change. So Gary loses out to Sooty Apex by 3 seconds through the pit stop. Smoky Devil 1.2 behind PN, and he's coming. A big wiggle though on the curb there. That's going to hamper his process. As Dan pumps in the fastest sector looking at his stream of them all at the moment. And he's 26 seconds clear of Rabbit Joe. We saw his... Dan there was a little deep, and just look at his rear tyres there. They don't look in too bad a condition. But I wonder... So Dan pushing them tyres an extra lap. Rabbit Joe then, he is that far back that... he's about as far back as Dan was to Gary in the last race. Joe stays out. Craigie is going to box. So Sooty Apex and Gary here will get themselves another place. And Craigie then, will he lose out to Lucas Roth as well? I believe so. That is DJ Phil, who is boxing again. And I'm not sure why he's boxing this time round. Lucas Roth to Craigie. Job done. What about Ace Smith to Craigie? I imagine that will be job done. Yes, it is. Craigie to PN. This will be tight. Going to be tight with Smoky Devil as well, who just was outside DRS range. Here comes Craigie. There goes PN and Smoky Devil. Job done then for them two. Who's Dan's race engineer so we can say that his tyres are gone? As DJ fell out the pits once again, and there's a lap down to the entire field in this race. So just Dan, PN, Smoky Devil and Rabbit Joe will have to put the medium tyre on. As DJ Phil exiting the pit shortly, will Dan box this lap? No, he's going to carry on his way here. Now, is he hurting his tyres more than gaining anything over them? Smoky Devil closest to PN, still on track. And Dan then is taking a bold strategy. At the minute, talk people currently watching, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified. ACC back Thursday night on Orthodub 16. Dan Davis will be taking you through the action live from the Nürburgring, where we can crown a champion there as well if the results go right. Rabbit Joe in the pits. Dan carries on yet again. Sooty Apex and Gary now, second and third. Them two are getting close to each other, but not as close as this battle. Final race of the season. As when does the race leader pit? Lucas Roth gets himself ahead of Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe comes out the pits. Just ahead of Ace Smith and stays ahead of Ace Smith. Does he? No, Ace Smith manages around the outside. Job done. Smoky Devil on PN Motorsport now. So Smoky Devil on a charge. Gary trying to hunt down Sooty Apex. And A. Smith trying to hunt down Lucas Roth now. Dan then into the pit. So Unorthodox boxes for fresh tyres. This is going to be interesting. He's already on his way out the pit lane. So Sooty Apex not even at the final corner. Neither is Gary, and Dan, he's already out. So that for Dan is probably now job done. PM Motorsport still fending off Smoky Devil. As up the inside he goes now, and job done on PM Motorsport, and PN a bit of a sitting duck there. Oh, I've caught it again. And Smoky Devil, job done on PM, but PN, older tyres, will have that DRS to come back at him as well. Gary now within DRS range of Sooty Apex. Let's watch this fight for second place. So Dan looks like he's gone and won this race. 12 seconds is the gap. And that'll be race win number 46 for Unorthodox. For Gary, it's about staying on the back of Sooty here and making the best of what you can. Well, that 14 of 33. Gary then right within 0.3 of a second. PN still within that second of Smoky Devil as they come through for DRS range. And you have to feel for PN tonight. No Big Boy Brazier to help the team try and stay second in the Constructors. As Gary now right up the gearbox of Dan. The last time an ART car, and we've lost DJ Phil. That is a retirement. Will it though? It does bring out the safety car. So DJ Phil, for the final time this season, will finish down in 10th place. And we have a safety car. Let's go to Unorthodox. Can we see where Phil's lost it? No, the car has just been cleared. So we have a safety car here at Albert Park in the last race of the season. That for DJ Phil may mean that he'll lose out to Sooty Apex in this championship. But finish out of Tibbs, Bozzy Boy, Bryn, Shane and Dean. And for High Tech, they are guaranteed fourth, so that is done. As PM Motorsport lose out to Craigie because PN pits, and that is probably a good strategy from PN to get into the box. Smoky yet to. So Dan and everybody else. Does this mean Gary could go a fresh set of mediums to the end here? And it will do them till the end. Maybe that's why Dan was staying out for so long. So safety car here for the final time this season. So Sooty backing Gary up here then, and they're just coming through to the last part of the car. I'm surprised Gary's not boxed here, actually. I really thought Gary might have boxed to put fresh mediums on. He would have kept his track position. He'd have been fine. Lucas Roth, he's done the same thing now. I expected him to pit. They're all doing the same thing here. Now will Smoky Devil get off them super softs? Yes, in he comes. Will he stay ahead of PN? That's the big one. So I'm very surprised here. Yes, Dan has that 3-second penalty to his name, but I'm surprised as PN does get past Smoky Devil through the pits. I'm very surprised that Dan hasn't, that Gary didn't pull the trigger. Let's stay on board Smoky Devil and wait for him to gain on the safety car then. Does Gary risk it at the end of this lap, I wonder? So towards the final corner they come now. Lap 16 of 33. Safety car out. Sutty and Gary may be pushing their tyres to the end of this race here. And Garrett Keegs definitely is, and none of them dive into the pits. I'm very, very surprised. The man who's on the best tyres, you have to say, is PN and Smoky Devil. There's the back three, just catching up to the safety car now. And for the final time in this F2 season. And the thing is now, the Delta is out the window, so these cars can go as fast as they want to at the moment. To catch up to the pack, they just can't overtake each other. So safety car will probably come in when these two get on the bike. Don't forget, Thursday night, 8 PM BST, ACC at the Nürburgring. Ferrari took its first win. The Bentley run has been stopped, but what will happen at the Nürburgring? Join Dan Davis to find out. Thursday, no stream next Sunday neither. As the safety car will do one more lap, then it is past pit entry and we are ready now. All the traffic has caught up and we will be ready to go. Very surprised that Gary and Keegs didn't pit. And A. Smith. It really did take me by surprise that no one pitted. And Keegs would have done nearly 30 laps on them tyres. That is a stint. When they said that they struggled on a 23 lap sprint race, you have to feel they're going to struggle here. Dan with a 3-second penalty. We go again after the start of this race that was epic. We go again, probably at the end of this lap. Keep your eyes on them safety car lights. Still on at the minute. They're still under the safety car conditions. Lap 18 of 33. Safety car then is coming in. So Dan will hold the pack up now. And this is where things will get interesting. DJ Phil, the only car out the race. And an Orthodox will lead the pack away. So Dan then, out the final corner, chooses to go now, and we are back racing here at Albert Park for the final half of this race. Gary's already trying to get a run on Sooty Apex as they come down the start line. Here comes Gary 131 then, trying to get himself alongside, but it'll be the outside for turn 1, the inside for turn 2, and turns in on Sooty, who just didn't move. Dan very wide, and with a track limits warning already to his name, he's got to be careful. Gary, though, loses out to Lucas Roth, who will now try and attack Sooty. And he's going to look around the outside, but Sooty holds station and holds firm at the moment. Lucas Roth's tyres a lot older than Sooty's, 4 laps older than Gary's as well. And Gary here has to get this one back ahead of Lucas Roth as he attacks now, look, but doesn't dive into the left hand, the right hander. Towards the middle part of the lap they come. Gary here wants them extra places. Smoky Devil has got himself back ahead of PN further down the pack. So PN Motorsport down in 9th place now. Sooty holding off Lucas Roth, who's holding off Gary. A. Smith's not far behind him. Bit of a gap to Rabbit Joe's got Craigie, Smoky Devil and PN Motorsport for company then. Cracking job so far. Dan has cleared the pack and is pulling away every little bit. Fastest lap of the race goes the way of Dan on his fresh mediums. Here comes Gary 131 on the back of Lucas Roth. Lucas Roth jinks left and comes back right and manages to get turn 1 and 2 done. Maybe just a bit too much curb through turn 2 because that's allowed Gary to have a run now on Lucas Roth and down towards turn 3. Gary's going to be on the outside of Keegs here, and Keegs manages with that safety car. He'll be able to probably get to the end of this race on his fuel. As Gary still attacking Lucas Roth all over the sausage curb, and that has really halted his progression. PN ahead of Craigie. What's happened back there to Craigie? He's lost 2 places. PN Motorsport then. Up into 8th, Smoky Devil 7th. Rabbit Joe trying to get on the back of Smithy, who's losing time to these 3 in front. Sooty, Lucas Roth, and Gary 131. Through the left-hander they come, now the right. And this is a tricky part where Lucas Roth struggles. And you can tell he struggled there because Sooty gapped him. And that allowed Gary to just get on the back of Lucas Roth. I don't think DRS has yet been enabled. It might be enabled at the end of this lap. So Dan crosses the line in just a moment. Start the next lap of the race. And will it be another fastest lap? It isn't, but DRS is now enabled. So Gary will not have DRS at this part of the track. But will be now sitting up and sitting pretty and trying to set up Lucas Roth for DRS at the middle part of the track. Lucas Roth will be wanting to set up Sooty Apex for DRS as well, and everybody behind them just outside the DRS range. Rabbit Joe now has gained on A. Smith under that 1 second mark. Great helicopter shot then of Lucas Roth through 4, 5 and 6. Sorry, through 3, 4 and 5 into 6 and 7. As Gary looking to the outside. Can't get it done. Will he think of a late send it up the inside? No, he's going to hang it around the outside. They make contact. Both drift through the corner. And both manage to keep going somehow. So well held from the pair of them. Dan's being allowed to pull away out front. And Gary here just attacking Lucas Roth. DRS open for Lucas Roth, DRS open for Gary. Both just dropped a bit too far back behind Sutty and Keegs. Yellow flag, PM Motorsport, what's happened? Lost a bit of his front wing. That may be a pit stop for him. No virtual safety car, no safety car. Gary right up the chuff now of Lucas Roth. And here they come. Down the start straight. Sutty's already trying to break that slipstream. As Lucas Roth and Gary really closing now. And Sutty weaving down the start line. That is not what we want to see. And Gary really closed on the back of Lucas Roth there. Lucas Roth didn't really gain too much over Sutty Apex. Gary now with DRS to the outside. Is he going to think of a late switch underneath? No, he's not. And they both close on Sutty Apex a little more. Gary is pretty much pushing Keegs around the final part of this lap. And it is great racing from the pair of them. Lucas Roth yet to win a championship here at Simplay Motorsport. Could become a champion tonight in the Constructors' Battle. And is trying to fend off a 4-time Constructors champion in Gary and a 2-time champion in Gary. 6 championships to his name, 2 as a driver, 4 as a constructor. Keegs has none and is doing a terrific job. Dan looking for his 4th Constructors championship as well. As Lucas Roth has lost it! Sutty Apex is out! Here's Span on the curb. And that is a yellow flag. Sutty is out of this race. And will finish his season in P9. So Lucas Roth and Gary's fight will continue. And for Sutty Apex, Gary's round. For Sutty Apex, it's going to be 9th place. More points in the bag, only 2. It puts him tied with DJ Phil. Gary's now behind Rabbit Joe. He's trying to go side by side, and we've got Sutty in the party. And Sutty, what happened there?
Got a bit too greedy on the curve and decided to exit stage right.
Exit stage right into the wall. A fantastic opening start to this feature race between yourself, Dan, and Gary, though.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good little battle. To be honest, I was a bit gutted. I was pushing too hard because I knew Keegs and Gary were there. I was trying to get out the DRS zone. My own fault.
You've been playing the F1 manager game. You didn't manage to see yourself get to a podium in this one.
No, I didn't. It's a shame.
Yeah, either way, Gary then back past Rabbit Joe up into P4 and has to hunt down after his teammate now, Smoky Devil, within a second of Rabbit Joe here. And all of a sudden, the end of this race and the end of this season just comes alive a little bit. Have you enjoyed it though tonight, Sutty, and what have you made of these F2 cars?
Yeah, it's been good. The F2 cars I've struggled with, I must be honest. Just struggled with understeer. I don't know if it's on the pad. I know a lot of people off the pad have gone to the wheel, haven't they, this season? Maybe I'll have to try it.
Oh, who's that? Who's had a problem? That's Rabbit Joe, who at the same corner as Sutty spins it round and pulls out the way of Craigie, but manages to keep it out the wall. So Joe having a scary moment like Sutty did, and that promotes Craig and Smoky Devil 5th and 6th as Gary's hunting his teammate down. Obviously F1 22 be coming soon, I imagine, Sutty. That more your cup of tea?
Yeah, I think I like that better. I was just chatting to Keegs in the party, and Keegs has tried the F2s round there, and he says the seat would be a lot better.
Obviously, hopefully, Jamie Brazier won't be lagging and we won't make contact at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Gary 131 then pumps in the fastest lap of the race. Now gets himself in DRS range of A. Smith here. And you'd imagine team orders would come into play because Gary is fighting for that 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship and only needs 5 points to do so. So 4th place will get him there. But I'm sure he'd love a podium. Will we get A. Smith on the podium? It looks like, though, Dan, a Carling 1-2 on the table here. Sorry, Sutty.
Yeah, it looks good. What actually happened to Gary? Because he was right up Lucas Roth, wasn't he? Did he
tap the rear. Yeah, tap the rear of Lucas Roth at the final corner.
Right.
As here comes Gary on the back of A. Smith. Will team orders come into play?
I hope not, because Smithy's had a blinding couple of races.
He's done all right tonight as Smithy. They're only a 2.5 seconds off the back of Lucas Roth, so if they work together, maybe they can catch for P3. And Smithy then Pulls to one side and allows Gary 131 through, and they both run a little wide. Smithy, hold on to it. Oh, he spun! So whatever has happened there has not worked, and Smithy backwards into the wall. And the strategy didn't seem to work there. He's in the middle of the track. Mind out. Rabbit Joe gets through. And A. Smith turns around as Dan does the fastest lap. And, yeah, that one didn't work, Sooty.
No, it didn't work at all. I was just chuckling when I seen Gary go in the ground. But typical Gary fashion, he just ends up pointing the right way, doesn't he?
always the lucky one. Excuse me, he's lost, though. 2 seconds to Lucas Roth. Yellow flag, sector 3 again. That is A. Smith, who's still struggling to get back on. And 17 lap-old mediums. They must be crying. Because you were saying in the mid-session break, Sooty, that the tyre wear was horrendous. So for Lucas Roth on 20 lap-old mediums with 8 laps to go, he's going to be struggling.
He's going to struggle. I was going to do an aggressive strategy if we didn't have a safety car, where I was going to do two stints on the super softs, then go to mediums.
Well, Smithy now on the super softs. That should hopefully help him. He's going to need a safety car from here to get onto the back of PM Motorsport. Dan leading this race with his 3-second penalty from Lucas Roth. 10 seconds that gap. Gary, though, has the gap back down to a second. And just under a second then as they come through the DRS detection zone. So is Gary then going to be DRS? Yes, he does have. And Keegs, 20 lap-old mediums. They have to be hurting, Sooty.
Yeah, 20 laps to go.
Oh, Smoky Devil! At the same place where Sooty Apex and Rabbit Joe have had a moment, Smoky Devil is out this race and in the wall.
Oh, this could be a safety car, Matt. This would be interesting.
This would make it very interesting. No safety car at the moment, but that'll be 8th place for Smoky Devil. That will mean that he'll finish ahead of Leon Fernie and Fury then, but won't be able to get ahead of Craigie. Gary, fastest lap of the race on his old tyres. The safety car, the track's clear, yellow flag's gone away. And we go back to racing here, so no safety car at the minute. Gary, though, within 3/10 of Lucas Roth. DRS wide open here. It comes once again to try and break that Carling 1-2. But can't get it done into turn 3.
He should get better traction. He's better off going around in it, I think.
He's better, yeah, he's also got them 4-lap fresher mediums, hasn't he? Keegs, 21 lap old tyres. 23 laps was the first race. Keegs' tyres are about ready to explode here. He could be playing a Sooty 8, but you're not playing F1 Manager with Keegs, are you, on this one? Because them tyres are ready to pop, and I know what your tyre strategies are normally like.
Yeah, we were chuckling when he said he was going to the end. We all know that I'm a majestic
Lucas Roth, bit of a wiggle on the curb, and this gives Gary an almighty run to the outside, but Lucas Roth is going to try and fight this, and Gary just behind will get DRS in the 3rd detection zone. Might have to back out of this and wait as Lucas Roth through the chicane now stays ahead of Gary, has a wiggle mid-corner, manages to keep it together. He's already gone defensive from Gary 131, forcing him wide. Gary has a huge moment, manages to hold it, and Keegs here is doing everything he can to get A, them tyres to the end, and B, keep Gary behind him, but them tyres are going to be getting a battering from this defensive drive.
Yeah, brilliant driving there off Keegs. He compromised his run out, didn't he? But then Gary had that moment. I think Gary would have had him if he hadn't lost the traction.
Double DRS here for Gary 131. It flaps open now, and away comes Gary 131. But he's 8/10 behind Lucas Roth. What's this doing to Gary's tyres in that dirty air? I'm trying to force an issue from Lucas Roth. 22 lap-old tyres for him, 18 lap-old tyres for Gary. Everybody else should get to the end, no problem. These two could be a case of whose tyre goes bang first.
I think that's where I struggled in the first race, because obviously I was behind Dan for a lot of it, and I had about 10% more wear than Dan.
PM Motorsport. Sorry, Sooty goes into the pits. Maybe that's to change his tyres. Smoky Devil hardly touched the wall and put me out, he says. Well, that's unfortunate for you, buddy. PN, a change of wing, so will this see A. Smith get past him here? Super softs going on for PN. Here comes Smithy, that will be position done. PN only just away on 1 lap old super softs, and Gary side by side now with Lucas Roth. Here they go, traction out the corner. Lucas Roth's come back at Gary, and Gary once again has to tuck behind. We'll have DRS again here though, Sooty, and this is a fantastic squabble between these two.
Oh, it's a proper good scrap. We all know I like a good scrap with Gary on these games, but I think he's going to have them eventually.
Yeah, I think
Doing a blinder here.
he is. He's playing an absolute blinder. He's racing well, his Keegs. He seems to be getting stronger every time you see him out on track. Supersoft's Ray Smith, Supersoft's 4PM Motorsport. But it's all about when these tyres go bang. I think at the moment, Lucas Roth now up the inside. Gary round the outside on the grass a little bit here. Lucas Roth comes back at him on the outside, and he's going to try and stick it here. Gary has DRS, but they're side by side. Lucas Roth, his tyres must be killing him, and he tucks back into the slipstream. Is he going to send one into turn one? He's going to try around the outside, and here he comes, and he's made it stick. What a move from Lucas Roth back into P2.
What a move that was, Matt.
Committed to the outside, and you know Gary will give you racing room, and Lucas Roth there, absolutely fantastic. He wants his second place.
Yeah, there was just a little bit of wheel banging, but it was Rubbins racing, as they say. Gary will be enjoying this.
Lucas Roth looks very up for this one. Sooty, I've not seen him up for this for a long time.
Oh no, it's good to see. It's good to see him up there, because like you say, normally Keith gets a bit disheartened, doesn't it? But this is brilliant.
Lucas Roth then very defending left, right, centre. There was a couple of movements there. Ace Smith, fastest lap of the race on the Supersoft. Lucas Roth, a bit of weaving. Gary sideways again. And how does he hold on to these? We say it all the time, Sooty.
We do. We know what would happen if it was you or me.
Yeah, both of us in the wall.
Yeah, probably make contact with each other as well.
Yeah, he'd have probably put me there. Scandalous. As they come down then, lap 28 of 33. Dan comes to the final corner to start lap 29 of 33. And Gary is must be scratching his head. 4-lap younger tyres as Smokey Devil leaves the session.
Oh, you can tell Keegs is trying. He's trying to get every ounce to try.
Yeah. He's just running the limits and pushing that car to the edge. And this the closest fight on track. And Gary 131, he must have a smile on his face because he will be, as Sooty said, loving this. Lap 29 of 33, 4 laps to go then. And if you are Gary 131, you're closing and closing and closing, but the DRS zone just runs out. Needed a bit more straight there to help himself past Lucas Roth. Are you surprised Dan's not dropped off the pace here to try and help Keegs out?
No, because he's got that 3-second penalty, so I think that's
yes,
quite
true.
Fine. So I think Dan's just probably happy he's that far ahead now.
Lucas Roth and Gary then are going to go at it one more time, and here comes Gary on board as Lucas Roth pulls out. Smithy pumps in another fastest lap. Gary to the outside. Can he hang it there? Bit of a wiggle on the grass. Round he goes.
Yeah, I don't often say this. I think a bit aggressive.
Very aggressive from the both drivers. And now Gary, whose tyres are 4 laps older than Joe's, has got Joe, who possibly could get a podium here. To the outside of Gary. Joe will have DRS as well, I do believe. And Gary yields the place. But that could just give Lucas Roth. Joe! Oh, all over the gravel! He's out! Is he? Yes, gone!
Oh, nearly managed it, Joe!
And he nearly took Gary 131 with him. And Rabbit Joe will be P7 in this final race. And that's the look Gary gets, you see. Joe gets a spin, a tank slapper, and manages to avoid Joe. We say it all the time, don't we, Sooty? Joe then, 7th place. That will put him up ahead of Fury and Leon Fernie in this championship fight. Gary is going to box. Virtual safety car, nothing to lose. Super softs, I reckon. Lap 29, sorry, of 33. No, lap 30, Dan's on. Craig E is now on for a podium.
Oh, you got wing damage, Gary.
Ah, did he get some wing damage from Lucas Roth then? So Gary down in 4th. Is nearly half a lap behind Lucas Roth. Yes, he's ended, so Lucas Roth will be up to racing speed. Does Keegs box now? He's got a pit stop, you'd say, over Craig E.
I think if I was Lucas Roth, I was seriously thinking about pitting.
Yeah, I think you're right. A. Smith then. Gary must be going to take the fastest lap away from his teammate. Gary and A. Smith now. The fight to be had. And Joe...
Joe!
Talk us through that one.
It was going so well.
Big moment.
I saw Gary had span, and I'm like, you know what? 101, we could get a podium here. I broke that smidge later, and I was trying to take it as fast as I could.
That's the joy. You just wanted to come in and see me, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're on the phone, Luke. Matt.
Well, what a shame.
Like those curbs.
What a shame for Rabbit Joe. There could have been a podium on, and he's Joe, you said in that first race, oh, well, I'll do my 101st and hopefully get a podium there. Not to be, but P7 points nonetheless, and you climb a few places in the championship. Gary to A. Smith, that gap 1.8. Gary to Craig E, 18 seconds. With 2 and a bit laps, A. Smith's now out the race! And again, is at the same place as where Sooty Apex and Rabbit Joe had their moment. A. Smith off into the wall.
Keegs needs to pit now.
That part of the circuit, Sooty, is catching every driver out. And this is reminiscent. You go back to Abu Dhabi, Sooty, in the Formula 1 game. We finished with 4 drivers when me and you DNF'd. We're down to 5 here. I know we only had 10 runners here, but we're down to 5 runners in this one, and there's still a couple of laps to go. No VSC, track clear. Dan well ahead of Lucas Roth. Now, does Dan, maybe, does he want to win this? Does he think of letting Keegs have a second win? What would you do if you was unorthodox? Sooty, you've got 22 seconds to Craig E back from Lucas Roth. What would you do?
We all know what I'm like. I'd let the Keegs have it. That's just me.
Will Dan cross the line together? Obviously, this will now confirm their Constructors' Championship win. And they'll be the F2 Constructors' Champions. So will Dan back off and let Keegs try and gain?
Let's just hope Keegs' fuel holds out.
Well, yeah, well, that's the big one. Is what's more of the worry, the fuel for Keegs or his tyres?
I think he's got a lot to worry about.
Joe, what was the situation?
What he was saying, he had half a litre excess fuel when we had 6 laps left, something like that. So he wasn't in a horrible position.
What was the tyre situation though?
Worse than the fuel, but they're not gone yet.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yep. Gary then, coming round. I presume Sooty's going to leave and find out the tyre situation for us from Lucas Roth. Gary, P4, and looking for the fastest lap of the race. Smithy down in 6th. His die is done. PN will get a P5 from all of this. And for this man, Gary does get the fastest lap. He's been caught by Lucas Roth a little bit. Is it time to maybe back off for that 1-2?
In some ways, I'd probably back off towards the end of the lap because you don't want to do it too early and risk a mistake.
Photo finish, isn't it, Joe? They know they're going to know with a 1-2 the constructors is in the bag. Photo finish, isn't it? An opportunity for the boys to get it, on the paper as Sooty's back with us. What is the tyre situation, Sooty?
Keegs at 65%, but he's just had a thing up. He needs to change compound because he's run the mediums twice, so he's coming in imminently.
He's in now, so he's coming in for a stop, and he's got a stop over Craigie as Keegs, and I bet he'll be glad to see them tyres come out. Out come the Super Softs. The calling team for the final time this season will work on the car. And will Dan be slowing down to let Keegs gain on him? Will he take the race win? Is he going to look for that photo finish, I wonder? Craigie actually is coming out the final corner. Dan might not be able to now Keegs has pitted.
3 seconds, yeah.
Here comes Craigie then. Is Craigie about to get second place from Lucas Roth then? Battle on for Lucas Roth. Craigie to the outside, round the outside, a bit deep in the gravel. And Lucas Roth will take that one back. And poor Craigie had an opportunity and it went horribly wrong. Gary, though, Craigie makes another mistake. Gary has a chance here. Dan cannot back off. Oh, Craigie's gone deep again at turn 3 now. So is Craigie, 21 lap old tyres starting to hurt him? Could Gary maybe sniff a podium? Dan can drop back from Lucas Roth now. But is coming up. 3 corners left for this man to go. He's won the championship. And is now slowing. A bit of a burnout there for Unorthodox.
We're up to 4 seconds now.
Yeah, the gap 4 seconds. Dan, I don't think he's going to wait for Lucas Roth. Burnouts galore here. And he's going to come to the line. He's already a 6-time champion. He's already the F2 champion. He's got to prove himself in F1. And a burnout for the team on the start line. Stopping at the line. This could be risky for Dan. He's going to cross the line with a burnout there. Dan Unorthodox is your race winner. Lucas Roth now 4.3 ahead of Unorthodox. Can you believe it? He's going to win his first ever championship here at Simplay Motorsport. It's going to be the Constructors' Championship for Carlin here in the F2s. And for Lucas Roth, it's going to be a second place and a job done for him. Craigie, though, the most exciting podium I think we could have. Craigie with third place. Gary 131 at the end misses out with a fourth and the fastest lap. And PN Motorsport. Joe, get Craigie in the party as well. And PN Motorsport is going to round out the top 5. And while we sort the tables out here, so Craigie, best position of the season there. And for the final time this season then, as we just sort out the championship standings while Joe gets Craigie in, hopefully. Unorthodox, if you go on play together, it should come up. Hopefully. If not, I'll get him in. Dan Unorthodox, 264 points. Gary 131, 192. Ahead of Jamie Brazier. It's a big boy Brazier drops to third. Forsey fourth. Lucas Roth finished ahead of A. Smith by 3 points. Lucas Roth, driver of the day. PN Motorsport, 7th. Craigie up to 8th. Mazda 9th. Smoky Devil in 10th. Rabbit Joe gets 11th place ahead of his teammate Fury. Leon Fernie, 13th. DJ Phil and Sutty tied for 14th with Tibbs in 16th place. And then your Constructors' Champions are Carlin from ART by 75 points. Prema down to third with High-Tech 4th. Campos in 5th. Trident 6th. Univirtuosi 7th. HWA Race Lab in 9th. Dams 10th. And MP Motorsport in 11th place. There is your final classifications. And that Carling are your Constructors' Champions. And we'll get a word from them in a moment. But first of all, Craig, an up and down season, but a third place at the very end. Not sure if Craig can hear us. Craig, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
Not an up and down season from yourself, but third place at the end. I bet you didn't expect that one.
No, I wasn't expecting that at all. Really struggled with it this season. Been the first season in it.
Has it been good fun though? Obviously, it's more races under your belt and a bit more experience in these kind of cars.
Yeah. All the experience counts, you know. Just struggled to find the right setup, down on pace a little bit, and hope that a few incidences and I can get a good result, you know.
Climbed a few places in the championship, Craig. So not a bad race season all in all. A top 8 finish in the season.
Oh well, that's a bit unexpected as well. So I'm glad with that.
Well, great to see you on the podium, buddy. Congratulations on tonight.
Cheers, Matt. Good evening.
And we'll speak with Lucas Roth, second place. And Keegs, you had to pit at the end. Was Dan going to let you through for the race win, maybe?
Nah, I told him not to.
I was.
Great race, great battle. You had a fantastic scrap with Sutty and Gary in that race.
Yeah, I seen the opportunity. Was after the safety car to get Gary, and after that, I just bang it in the middle of the track for the rest of the race.
Talk us through the manoeuvre where Gary got past you. You went round the outside at turn 1 on Gary. Me and Sutty really applauded that move.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I got a bit confused because I feel like he braked early. I don't know if he did or if that was just his normal braking point, but I just happened to drive right in the outside of him. I didn't even mean it, to be fair.
Well done on the second place tonight. Dan, let's just talk quickly about your race win. Pretty much similar to Gary in the first race, relatively easy.
Yeah, pretty much, other than getting myself a penalty and then the safety car comes out, so that didn't help.
Talk us through the race start, because that, between yourself, Gary and Sutty, was magical.
Oh, that was brilliant. I just didn't get a good start. I just didn't pull away, just didn't do anything. The car just bogged down as such. So it was a weird start. Initially it was a good launch, but it was all about just trying to stay ahead of Gary, because I knew if he got gone, I wouldn't catch him, especially with the setups that we all were running. I stuck with balance, thinking that it just felt nicer.
Yeah.
But Sati so many times in the background was saying, I might send it, no I'm not, I might send it, no I'm not. And I'm like, I'm just sitting and praying we didn't go 3 white, but nonetheless, Gary gave me respect, I gave him respect. It was great fun, and it was nice not to run with the ghosting as well, because you could know when you're actually hitting one another.
Yeah.
But more importantly, Keith, you need to play the music, man. You need to play the music.
Well, just before he does then, Constructors Champions for F2 this season, not F1, for F2. I've got it right this week, Dan. Carlin have had a mixed season, I'd say. Brilliant on your side of the garage, but obviously need to invest in a bit more fuel on Keegs' side of the garage.
All in all, we're just deciding that we're going to ditch this game and we're going to make sure that Keys' game is all set and ready for the F1 2022. We want F2 back, and I pray to everybody who's watching, obviously when we go onto F1 2022, it is cross-platform, but please sign up and do these F2s, because they are good fun. We do enjoy racing them. I like the sprint, I like the feature race, and it does produce some great racing. These tyres, these rules really do throw it out, and I don't know about the rest of the guys. These cars are horrible in this game, but I'm pretty sure in the other game that they are a lot better. So I just ask people, if we do F2, sorry, again, in the next game, please sign up, because these are great fun. And yeah, me and Keith want to carry on the win in the Carlin for next season. And
Keegs, just a word from you. Your first championship, you could have had it with Mazda season 1 of the GT3s. Just missed out last season with Holty in the GT3s, but it's took a 6-time champ to get you your first championship on the board.
Yeah, I've had a couple of opportunities. A bit unlucky, and well, the other 2 opportunities that I mainly really had, I had not the best of luck, but you know, it's nice to get one now.
Obviously, now you are a 1-time Constructors winner, just like your dad and uncle, Stealth Sloth and Welshie. So you can celebrate tonight. And go on, let's hear this song.
We are champions, my friend.
And that's all we have time for then. Thanks for tuning in this season. It's been a fantastic F2 season. 2 races left in the ACC Championship. Dan Davis will be bringing you the action through that. Championship can be wrapped up on Thursday. Will it go, though, to Monza a week later? 28th and 29th of September. Let's not forget the start of Season 7 and the start of something special. There is 3 pro champions on the grid in the pro, and there is at least 8 drivers all fighting for that championship that we've kind of ruled down that could really be in the mix for this. You will not want to miss it. And Pro-Am as well looks as juicy as ever. But from the F2s for the final time this evening, thank you to Rabbit Joe and Tutti Apex for helping out in commentaries tonight. A massive congratulations to Unorthodox and to Lucas Roth and the Carlin team. But from all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, take care. Good night.
We are the champions. We are the champions. And from my end of the stream, it's a good night. We've done it again. We have another Constructors champion. We now have 4 to our name. So it's good to have that under the belt. And congratulations to Keegs for finally winning the title himself. I don't even know where he finished in the end in the Constructors. So
in the drivers.
In the drivers, I think he then started going up
P5. He got ahead of Smithy and PN.
Well, either way, well done to Keith for that. And honestly, I was going to let him through because we wanted to run side by side at the end, but then he got the message to say that he hasn't complied with the rules. So he had to pit. So either way, good racing from us. It has to be a while till I start streaming again and do racing, but possibly we'll be back for Season 7, where I plan to kick Matt's ass in my Audi. So make sure you tune in for that, and make sure you tune in because that's going to be an epic season. Season 7 is going to be one you want to watch for sure. Also, make sure you tune in on ACC. Give the Gaming Welshman 5 a follow as well on his Twitch. He'll give you footage and a good action on a Thursday night on ACC. Great stuff for him on there. And also give PM Motorsport a follow as well. He's been streaming as well, so give them a follow. And once again, we are champions. See you later.
That race start, man, was fucking epic. That was epic.
I was just celebrating.
Like, because not only was it you two battling, but like you then look behind you and Smithy and Lucas Roth were side by side for ages.
Oh,
Yeah,
I could
front
not
wing
get
damage.
behind Smithy. I had front wing damage because I had a slight tap on him because I could not
I'm gonna
get
have
past
to
him.
rewatch that first lap because that was mad.
I literally could not get past him.
Oh, that was good.
First lap,
I
wasn't it?
sent one and he'd still somehow keep the power around me. I was like, oh my god.
I caught Sati out a fucking beauty on the
Oh,
restart.
the restart, yeah.
I caught him
Little
fucking
tinker.
napping. He was just like, oh shit, you've gone. Oh shit, Gary's right behind me. Oh fuck. Oh man, that was
I
sick.
seen Gary getting holded up by Kings. I got it like 08 cents. I thought, right, I just need to proper go for it, and then I just ended up in the wall. The Kings was just laughing his head off.
The other funny thing is, we just sat there, and me and Keys were sitting there going, "Oh, well done, Jay. You're gonna finish a race." Fuck! Bang! Oh shit!
Basically, like 20 seconds after we said that.
See them on, mate.
Put it in the
I'm
I'm surprised 30